Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss will lead the SEC in combined rushing and passing, and I don't think it's going to be all that close.
Locked On presents The Portal, the daily podcast covering college football recruiting and everything NIL. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Into the Portal Podcast, where you get your daily recruiting, NIL, and transfer portal scoop. I'm your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making the Portal Podcast your first listen each and every day right here on the nation's #1 sports podcasting network, Locked On. We are brought to you by Mazda. We put the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. There is more to a Mazda because there is more to you. This episode is all about predicting the 2026 SEC quarterbacks ranking for combined passing and rushing yardage. No more, no less, so let's get started. Here are my numbers for the top 8, and this is the primary list I'm going to talk about. I'll touch on some of the others, but this is the bottom line. I'm going to read off the stats for those of you that are listening, and we're going to go back through them on who, what, when, where, why, and how I came up with this number for each player. Trinidad Chambliss starts off. I got him at 4,500. I think he will be a finalist for the Heisman and has a great chance to win the Heisman. I think he will be motivated, especially with the appeal going on by the NCAA to take away his final year of proposed eligibility. I think that will motivate him even more. And Ole Miss's defense is better. Their offensive line should be better. The receivers are still good. They still have Keywan Lacey, and they've got a motivated team because they were so close last year. I've got Chambliss leading the league, and I don't think it's going to be that close. He's a great player, and good luck to him. Byrum Brown at Auburn, 3,800 is my projection. He comes over with Alex Golish and that staff from USF. He was a starter the last couple games for the Bulls as a freshman and has been a mainstay behind center for that program since. And now he's a graduate student coming over with 5 receivers from USF, plus the starting center from USF. That's going to help. They've got a good running back room. Auburn is going to be a better team, I think, overall in terms of their offensive line. This is going to be a very unique team. However, their schedule is daunting. I might have put him a little over 4,000, but it is a really hard schedule. Top 5 in the nation, in my opinion. And they're probably going to need him to be electric just to get him to 8-4 because that schedule is so hard. Gunner Stockton, I have him at 3,500 yards. He's probably the most misunderstood quarterback in the league. He's not necessarily spectacular on a consistent basis, but he gets the job done, and he's going to be a graduate student, much like Byrum Brown. That is an important factor. Maturity to go along with all those reps. The running back room's good. The offensive line should be more consistent, but I said the same thing last year. It was only a small upgrade over what I thought it would be from the 2024 group. They need more consistent ground play in critical games. If they do that, Gunner's a pretty good passer down the field. That would be a very important factor, and he's still one of the most undervalued runners in the nation. I've got him at 3,500. Arch Manning, Texas. I would have had him higher, but I think they're going to kill a lot of the teams they're going to play, and he'll be sitting out the back half of a lot of fourth quarters. That matters in total stats. I got him at 3,400, but I think he will be a guy in the Heisman race for a good bit of the season. But again, I think his stats will be a little down because I think Texas is going to be pretty dominant. And the way they're going to score, they'll probably pull him, try to get some other guys some reps. That's just my opinion. Austin Mack, this one may or may not surprise you. He is the quarterback in a battle currently at Alabama. I'm just predicting the guy that A, knows the system under DeBoer, and B, has been around them the longest. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going to go deep into the whole situation with him and Keelan Russell, but one of them is going to be really good. They know how to coach quarterbacks. I've got him at 3,300. Sam Leavitt, I would have had higher, but I'm very leery with him coming over to LSU from Arizona State because of the Liz Frank injury. He's a great fit, in my opinion, for the entirety of what the offense is about under Lane Kiffin. But Sam, quite honestly, that Liz Frank injury, we just don't know. And I don't think he's going to get the same level of reps that everybody else is. He's going to miss most of spring practice in terms of the really important reps, meaning where he can go up against the number ones and see what it's like. Those are reps he'll never get back. And I also think there's a good chance that he'll get banged up again because of the time he's missed with the Liz Frank injury. So I got him at 3,100. but he's the guy that I would put an asterisk by, because if he ended up with 4,000, it wouldn't shock me. It's just the injury part. It makes me very, very nervous. Marcel Reid, they lost quite a bit up front, offensive line-wise. They lost a guy early to the draft at receiver. They lost good running backs. They lost a little bit of everything. They even lost some good defensive players too. I need to see Reid take a major step forward in terms of his ability to make post-snap reads. I've talked about that on this channel. But I also think they need a lot of newcomers that they go out and spend money on in the transfer portal and recruiting to hit the ground running. I've got him down a little bit from last year, but I really don't think it's Reid's fault. It's just I don't think they're going to have as many playmakers around him. Jon Mateer, I think that he will take a small step forward. O-line will certainly be better at Oklahoma. They got a great new running backs coach. I think they've got some young running backs that are pretty darn good, that are kind of coming into their own. No reason to think Oklahoma won't be more balanced, and that'll make Mateer's job easier. His yards per pass should go up. His yards per run should go up, and he should be, at the end of the day, obviously, the most important thing, he should be healthy. He had multiple injuries that he was dealing with for the majority of the 2025 season. If Mateer can make it to that next step and just be a more consistent passer, meaning, again, kind of like what I was talking about with Marcel Reid, not making mistakes, post-snap reads, and just understanding what's in front of him, he'll throw for 300-400 more yards conservatively, if not 500 or 600 more yards. And on top of that, again, ground game should be better. O-line should be better. There's a lot of reasons to be very excited about what Jon Mateer has. When we come back, I want to talk about Alabama's schedule and use it as a barometer of how you can look at some of this stuff. Because it's not just the yards that you throw for, the yards that you run for. How do you utilize that, and why is it important? That is next right here on the Portal Podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everybody with 5 Hour Energy. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy Draft. I'm a very old school guy, and I do not change that much when it comes to my favorite flavor. And I'm also a snow cone guy, which means blue raspberry is for me because 5 Hour Energy has it. They've also got other great flavors too. The cotton candy, I'm really curious about in terms of the new flavors. Peach mango, Hawaiian, cherry, grape, some of the basic flavors like that I'm really interested in. Confetti Craze also kind of throws it into a different mix. Maybe that'd be a nice change up once in a while. But my number one pick, again, is blue raspberry. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or over at Amazon. We are also brought to you by our friends at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to still fill is sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, it's a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate finds your post randomly. And here's the stat that kind of puts it all into perspective. In roughly the minute that I'm going to be speaking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires based on Indeed's data worldwide. So if you're hiring, make sure you do it with Indeed Sponsored Jobs, because it's spending less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all the boxes. That's less stress for you, less time for you, and more results with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves. Head over to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And if you want to take your game to the next level, check out the Everydayer Club down below in the description. $5 a month or $50 for a year. Your audio pods will not have any ads. None at all. That is the best deal going. Check out the Everydayer Club. All right, let's talk a little bit about scheduling. This is something that I think is a great way to kind of put things in perspective. I go through some of these schedules to help me come up with the numbers that I have. And I've got it written down on a sheet over here since I don't have them up on my screen right now. But like, is the schedule for Auburn as easy as it is for a few of the other schools? No. But I still believe in Byrum Brown because he's a grad student and this will be his 5th year without a scholarship. So I'm going to let that ride. But some other guys, it's going to be difficult. And to put it in perspective, like there's no easy schedule in the SEC, but I think Austin Mack's been around. This is the Alabama schedule, for example, that I have on the screen. And I think he'll at least navigate it. And it's good. They got East Carolina out of the gate, Kentucky on the road. They're not a great team, and it's a new coaching staff. In Florida State, Ward only knows. So the first 3 games are kind of iffy for any great team. South Carolina, probably not. Mississippi State, probably not. Your first 5 games, there's nobody that will have the same level of talent as you. That's a great opportunity for Austin Mack, or it could be Q and Russell. I'm just going with Mack. That's just my prediction. And whatever happens, you're going to have a pretty good barometer of where you're at. Because if he's not tearing those teams up, you're in trouble. Because after the Mississippi State game, that's no gimme, it's on the road. Who do you got left? You got Georgia at home. That's obviously a very difficult game. You got to go play the Vols, which that quarterback situation is definitely up in the air. Got A&M at home, but Marcel Reid, if he gets hot, look out. You got to go to LSU. That's very difficult, and that might be the most difficult game on the schedule. And you've got the Vanderbilt game. Last year, that would have been really hard on the road. This year, not as likely because they're probably going to be starting a freshman, Jared Curtis, in my opinion. Then you got UT Chattanooga, and you got Auburn at home. Like right there in the middle, it's a little dicey. You got Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, bye week, LSU. That's a 4-game stretch, about as tough as anybody. But other than that, it's really manageable. If it was Auburn's schedule, like in the order and everything that Auburn had it, I would have his number a little bit lower. That's just my opinion. And you can apply that to any schedule you want on here. Like if I pulled up Kentucky's schedule, you'd be like, holy cow, that's even worse than Auburn's. I think Kentucky might have the toughest schedule in the country this year. Good luck to Kenny Minchie. And to that end, I do want to comment on a few of the players that I didn't put on this list in my top 8, just to give you a perspective of what I had from like 9 through 16. I got Austin Simmons at number 9, 2,800. Kenny Minchie, 2,700. Kamario Taylor over at Mississippi State at 2,600. Likewise, Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. Faison Brandon, I think he'll end up being the starter. He may not be the starter on game 1, but he'll end up being the majority of the starter, in my opinion, for the Vols. Aaron Philo at Florida. We got Faison Brandon, 2,400. Philo at 2,300. Whoever ends up, I have no idea what's going to happen at Arkansas. I don't know either of those quarterbacks very well. So I got 2,300. Then Jared Curtis at Vanderbilt. I think it'll be a rough year. It's a true freshman, and they lost a lot. I got him at 2,200. So we'll see. These are just fun off-season numbers to kind of look at. But I think it's a really worthwhile effort. Look at where things are now, especially using the schedules, and kind of move it forward. Some of it straight to the point, experienced guy, knows the system. Then you got on the other end of the spectrum, new head coach at Arkansas. Not sure about their quarterback. Not the greatest roster. The numbers will be lower. It's pretty straightforward. With that, thank you very much for checking out the Portal Podcast. Truly appreciate it. We will see you again soon, right here on the Portal Podcast.